It is time for Buy or Sell on NBARoto.com. I am the NBA Roto man, Farid from FantasyBasketballPros.com on the show tonight. Farid, what's up?
Not much, Jimmy.
Dude, I love your site, man. I especially like your blog a couple days ago with second-round gems and your comment about DJ Strawberry. If you pick him up, obviously your season is over.
Yeah, that's from my co-writer, Mike Yu. He's been doing a rookie watch feature and dabbling in the second round. He couldn't find much to talk about, so you'll see a lot of jokes intermixed in there.
Yeah, it's an entertaining site, man. Let's go through the 5 on-the-bubble players tonight, and you tell me, do you buy or do you sell? And we're going to start off with the guy who's burned me throughout the year until I finally dumped him, Orlando's Jameer Nelson. Buy or sell?
Well, I think he's a buy. I know Arroyo had been backing him up and was doing particularly well when he was out that one game with the flu, and I know Nelson had a rough stretch at the end of February shooting the ball, but despite this, I think the Magic are content on having him as their premier point guard. I think he can play very well. I think Van Gundy has all confidence in him, and although he'll be splitting a few of the minutes with Arroyo, I still think he's a definite pickup at this point.
Awesome. Let's go up to Toronto. There was a lot of buzz about this guy earlier this year, but the hype has died down somewhat. What's your thought on Jamario?
Well, Jamario Moon, I kind of have him in a neutral position, sort of like a buy if you have him, a sell if you don't. I say you keep him if you have him. He really fills up the stat sheets. I mean, last night, in addition to 14 and 9, he blocked 3 shots and had 4 steals. So he's all over the place. He'll provide you statistics in some form any given night. I just don't think he's the kind of player you go out and seek right now. I was expecting a little bit more out of him with Chris Bosh's absence, but he has since not proven me wrong. And I just don't think he's the kind of guy you pick up right now, in addition to the kind of players you have right now.
Great, man. What about the oldest man in the NBA? You know, he's had a couple good nights since Yao's gone down. Do you risk it and pick up Dikembe?
No. That's a complete sell. If you saw last night, he only played 8 to 10 minutes. I think his time in the NBA is quickly coming to an end. Sure, he can block some shots. He showed us in one game against Memphis that he can still pull down about 13 rebounds. But I think the Rockets, within their current winning streak, are going to look at some of the guys that have been getting them there, Landry, Scola, and Hayes, and I think they've been playing particularly well. I just don't see a future for Dikembe and Mutombo.
Another big man who was traded to Sacramento from New Jersey this past year, and my thought was, without Kidd, the guy wasn't going to be worth much, but he's done some damage anyway. What are your thoughts on Mikey Moore?
Well, I like him. I consider him a buy, and the reason I say that is because there's not too much depth at the center position at this time of year, and you know, last few games he's been bringing down about 10 boards, scoring about 10 points on 67% shooting. I just really like his hustle, the way he plays, and my motto is if you see him on national television and if he impresses you, he's worthy of a pickup, and you know that's why I recommend him at this point.
Great. And finally, a guy I have actively railed against ever picking up, drains 6 3-pointers last night, and when he's on, he is on. What are you doing with J.R. Smith?
I'm selling him. I just don't think he's worth it. I'm in the same camp with you. Sure, he can hit the threes, and I guess I should have bridged that. If you are desperate for threes, maybe consider picking him up, but otherwise, steer clear. He's just too streaky of a player. His minutes fluctuate. Denver's the kind of team that will either blow you out and score 130 in a game, or you know maybe only drop 90 on you. So his consistency is somewhat in the air. So he lives and dies by the free, and I'm not going to risk that at this point in the season.
Awesome. All right, give us a couple players underneath the radar that you like.
Well, if you've been reading Fantasy Basketball Pros, I really like the Bobcats and a couple of their players, Jared Dudley and Matt Carroll. In Dudley's case, he can do just about anything, and in Carroll's situation, he can score, hit the three, and has really good hands. He can even pick off a couple steals. So I really like those guys, particularly because the head coach of the Bobcats, Sam Vincent, had said that you know the team was going to be looking more at the young guys, given the injury to Gerald Wallace and the fact that their season is quickly coming to an end.
All right, Farid from FantasyBasketballPros.com. Outstanding site, outstanding guest. Love your site, and thanks for being on.
Thank you very much, Jimmy.
Okay, there we go. That wraps up another buy or sell. I am the NBA Roto Man, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.